Alrighty, everyone. I've said it about 30 times, but here we are. We're going to go ahead and start to get ready to remove the bridge that is in this cylinder. This is an old cast iron cylinder, super heavy, kind of imperfection, paint's coming off everywhere. This cylinder's seen some things. This is the original cylinder that was on the Super Rat that you've seen before, so I figured before tearing into the Wildcat 80, the best thing to do is go ahead and practice where I can on older cylinders that maybe don't necessarily, I don't know, matter as much, I guess. Or not necessarily matter as much, but just kind of a different take. So what I have done is I'm taking this pre-conditioned ring that you guys have seen, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put it into our cylinder. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take this piston, this old piston that I have. I went and removed the rings with the old handy-dandy ring removal tool. Very nice and nifty. So I'm just going to kind of place that in there, kind of how I think it's good. We're going to take the piston. That's going to help be our guide and take it nice and flat. Let's go ahead and turn it around. Also, too, just to know, the first time I did this off camera just for practice, I put where the ring compresses, where it comes together, where I wanted to mark. So just food for thought, have it off to your side if that's how you're going to go about it. I don't know, hopefully you guys can see something or another. Just going to use that piston. Let's go ahead and, oh, there, guys, gonna move my fat head. Let's go ahead and go right about, oh, I gotta get closer too. Let me look off camera. How far? Just gonna push it up a little bit more. Alright, so I think we're gonna go right about there. Go ahead and remove my cylinder. We got our handy dandy marker. Ever so slightly, don't want to move the ring. I did wash this cylinder, by the way, so with some soap and water, so that should help the marker stick. You know, these markers are nice, but they're not as fine pointed as I would have liked, so I gotta remember that when I'm marking. I can already tell on the ring it's a little different. Oh, it's also cold out here. We have second winter hitting us right now. I'm gonna blow on that just a little bit. Kind of want it to dry. Interesting shape of this port as well for the exhaust is it's very skinny at the top and then it gets wider as it goes down, I guess is the best way of saying it correctly. So that's kind of interesting to me. Kind of the opposite, I think, of what you want to kind of shoot for. But maybe that bridge does allow a different shape. I mean, we have that shape. It doesn't look that great. Let's go right to where that sucker closes. Let's go a little bit before, because I want to lob some of it off with the way that marker marks. Okay, same thing. If you guys have some tips of the trade, let me know too. Always helps. Doesn't seem like the ring's moving, so that's good. Alright. Overkill's probably too much kill. Oh, I barely got a mark on that one. We got a mark on there, I guess. I wonder if it's just not drying. Better than nothing, though. We'll be able to go off of it at least a little bit. Gives us at least a little bit of a line, I guess. Alrighty. Well, I'm just going to push it on through all the way down. Oh, she's tight. Oh, she's tight. Maybe I should have went the other way. I'm not sure. How'd our other mark favor? Oh, better. So hopefully you can see that up in there. We got at least a couple marks. I'll go back with the Sharpie and patch it up off camera. Gives me at least a reference point, something to aim for. I think next is going to be let the garage warm up and then get some coffee, and if the little boy is still down for a nap, we'll go ahead and cut, guys. I'm pretty excited, so stay tuned. Alright guys, last time before I promise we start cutting. Basically, I'm just want to show you some of the tools I'm going to use, or just what I have on hand right now. Some different cutting bits on this side. These are double-sided cutting bits. This is a single-sided bit. This one cuts slower from my understanding, even though they look kind of more gnarly in my head. These ones are a lot faster. They cut a lot quicker. So I think, I don't know, to begin with, I might use these ones. These ones are supposed to be for kind of slower pace, maybe what I need kind of a thing. Next I have some of these diamond ball looking things. These are going to be for champering later on. You just hit the edge of your ports, and then I guess depending on which size I use, that will give a nice little chamfer. That'll be kind of interesting too. And then also we have some of these. These are some super cheapy, I think Harbor Freight ones, but anyways, these are basically just your grinding stones. I think what I'm going to use the grinding stones for mostly is going to be when I get closer to the actual cylinder wall itself. I think from my understanding, this or even a sander, like a little sanding wheel for your Dremel, will help not chip your lining away as much compared to these. These will chip and chatter, and basically they're cutting, so it's a little more abrasive, obviously, compared to like something like this. So just some food for thought. I don't know a ton about that. Guys, I've never cut before into anything with a Dremel like this. Just the odds and ends and that kind of stuff. So I'm excited. Also too, I'm going to use some oil that I had sitting around right here. Just going to have in here, and that's what I'm going to use for my cutting oil this time until probably get something a little bit better. Besides that, guys, I think that covers it. Yeah, have a Dremel. Also too, I think someone said a while ago, I don't know who, but if you get one of the extendos for either your Dremel or your other device that isn't a Dremel, your router tool or whatever, it saves your motor long term. So I don't know. Plus, this should be a lot easier to maneuver in general. So, okay, here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we go. I'm going to use these as kind of a brace to try to hold the cylinder down, and yeah, bada bing, bada boom. I think it's just kind of, let's send it. I'm going to be putting the camera on the table, so hopefully the vibrations aren't going to be too bad. It's going to get a little loud, so turn the volume down. I'll try to do accordingly. I'm not 100% sure how this rodeo is going to go. So, all right. Try to get you guys as close as possible, but everything kind of extended, and this is a Frankenstein kind of a monster we got going on here. Let's go ahead and dip her into a little bit of oil, let it drip off a little bit, and get some in the cylinder where I'm going to make my first cuts. I'm sure there's better oil you guys can use, definitely. This is what I had on hand right now, versus like some two-stroke oil, which is probably not ideal. We got the bridge there. I'm not exactly sure how we're gonna go about it. I think I'm just gonna actually go straight down because that's the best visual I can get right now. You do not realize how small these cylinders are until you're sticking even something that small in there. Holy cow. And it's a game of 0.0 millimeters that can make and break the cylinder. So if you're not nervous, man, it's because you're a pro. And if you're a beginner and you're not nervous, then maybe you didn't do your research. But yeah, there's a lot to this. So we're going to fling some oil, I'm sure, but I'm all geared up, so screw it. Oh. Send it. Come on. Go. Alrighty, so we've broken through the bridge. I don't know what you guys are going to be able to see from that side, but let's see. From my perspective, it's hard to tell with all the other metal flakes in there. I wonder if it would be advantageous to maybe try to clean a few of those out of there. I'm a little nervous for the metal flakes. I got my skin, guys, I'm not even joking. I could look at these things and I'm going to get metal slivers. I should have got gloves on, but that's okay. So what is the approach I should take now? I don't think I did too bad as far as doing the cylinder. I might just go and hit this under some water. Now let's keep going. Alright, we're going to try to take those two nodules off real quick. Try to smooth them out flat. Then we are going to go ahead and maybe just hit it with some water. Interesting. I wonder if I need to start maybe thinking about looking on the other side. Shaking off or bolt off it there or something like that, but we're getting there. Alrighty, everyone, we are back. I hit it with the shop vac, probably the best move rather than rinsing it. Obviously, you don't want those in your sink. I did okay. I went a little bit below on our left side of that port. I dropped it down just a little bit more than I wanted to. This is my best angle with my light, guys. I am struggling with lighting in here. I'm going to figure that out later on. But not bad. We're going to go ahead and flip it over and hit up that top part bridge and try to be a little bit more gentle when we get there. So here we go. Oh. Also, too, I did not want to use those pliers anymore. Those are really nice pliers. So I figured I probably should use some wood or something like that instead. Here we go. Let's go ahead and actually get some oil in there. Probably should be using more oil than I was. dripping in there a little bit. Let's see if I can do it like this. Turn that on without it taking too much. Alrighty guys, I've made some more marks. Again, need the practice, so we're going to open up the exhaust just ever so slightly. We're going to do that a little bit later. First, let's go ahead and see if we can see. Hopefully you can see I've made some more ticks with the Sharpie. Oh man, I don't think you guys are going to be able to see jack. Well, that's why, because I'm looking at the intake. Made some more ticks with the Sharpie. Probably still can't tell. But yeah, let's go ahead and give another girl with the whirl for the girls, whatever you want to say, and we'll go ahead and keep cutting. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and switch over to I don't know what you call these, grinding stone, I believe. Grinding stone, that sounds right. Oh, that's a little bit bigger. There we go. Shorter shaft on it. A little bit of pain. I think that's something too to think about when you go to purchase some of these, is to it doesn't look perfectly straight either, does it? No, it does not. I think that one's Bungus. Is your brother any better? That's pretty hunky-dory too, there. We'll give it a try. I'm not really sure what that means. That probably isn't great. We don't know. Alright, everyone, we're back, and overall I'm pretty happy with what we got for the first attempt. The red marker is going to be what I'm going to take off with the grinding stone. I'm going to kind of use up that grinding stone because it's no good really, in my opinion, since it's kind of so oblong. I'll hopefully get some better ones. But yeah, might as well use it up. Might as well save the actual bits. So let me know your thoughts. I'm not doing anything super crazy with this cylinder because it's going to potentially be used on a different motor that I need to do all my timing and stuff like that. So just kind of wanted to show you before we hit it. Oh, forgot this other leg, but alrighty. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to keep going. Probably do a little fast forward. I'm not really sure. I'm having fun. The mask might be overkill, but I do not want this stuff, like, I'd rather bounce off or get caught there than sneak up through the glasses, which can happen. I hate getting stuff in my eye. Not worth it for a second. So, alrighty. Where are we starting? I really have a really hard spot, I think, in the casting. In this back notch, it's dipping down, so I actually have the perfect spot where I want it, but I have like that lump before it goes there. So that's my big area that I'm going to hit with this, hopefully. And then just use it up. We're just going to try to open it up a little bit. I left the stop line too, so that way I'm going to try to ramp it up kind of a little bit. So that way I have a good strong mating surface still right there, but it'll kind of like ramp into there. So I don't know. First one, I'm getting all these crazy ideas like I know something, and I do not, guys. It's just kind of preparing it for the next thing, so that way I don't have to do as much work, I think. Since I'm here and I have the time. My brother's here and he's watching the boy for me, thank goodness, because it allows me to finish this little project. And now that he's mobile, it's a whole different ballgame. So let's go ahead and start with the lower part. There we go. It's a little bit better. Fun. It's kind of hard to stop. That's kind of the bad part of it. Pretty rough, but definitely better. Oh man, I still have that hard spot right there, man. I'm gonna smoke that thing. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna basically do the same thing on this lower part right there. And then whatever's left over, we'll hit with the file. What we might do, too, is try a little bit of chamfering. So stay tuned for that. Alrighty, guys, we are back. I switched to the diamond ball end. What I did was kind of line it up to about what the port, or excuse me, what the original chamfer was on the, on the intake, because that was probably the nicest on this entire cylinder, was that chamfer job on the intake. I'm gonna play around the very bottom of here, just clean off some of those burrs with it, just to get a feel for it, get a little bit more adventurous, maybe play up with some of these transfers in here, where the piston doesn't drop below. They're actually looking pretty good, but just maybe where some are thinner, maybe right up, and then we'll go ahead and try to tackle the exhaust port. Wish me luck, guys. This has been a lot of fun. I think I've been a little ambitious, probably got a little bit too big on the exhaust, but had a little bit of a challenge with those, with that bridge. It ended up being a lot of material, and the way that they were shaped were kind of had like a more of like that kind of a shape versus like a, I would have seen like a more of like a heart would have been kind of nice, but completely different. But I don't know. learning, having fun, and why not do it on a cylinder that's just gonna sit and collect dust and for who knows how long. So, alrighty, guys, here we go. Wish me luck. Having a lot of fun though, guys. This is already, it's like, it gives me a lot to think about. It's definitely a lot more of a muscle hand-eye coordination thing that I could have thought, and plus, like, you take off a lot more material. You think in some spots, and then a lot of spots you do not. It's really weird. I don't know if that's just inconsistencies with my hand, how I'm pushing, plus the material, but there's definitely some hard spots that are harder to hit. Alright, well, that looks pretty rough, so let's just go ahead and, if we're gonna do a chamfer on there, I'm trying to think like what the best angle is. That's another thing, is trying to figure out angles. This block of wood is actually super nifty. That's the funniest part. Alrighty, everyone, I'm going to show you the end result. Took some files, some very small files, and also some, I believe it was 400 grit, might be even more than that. Sandpaper while my brother was over and playing some video games, and just hit that real quick. The camera's not going to do it justice, I'll take some pictures. But for just some 400 grit and playing around, we got it pretty good, and some file action. In my opinion, we got it pretty good. It's kind of crazy to think that there was a bridge there. The shape still is not ideal. We'll shoot for something a little bit different. This is not the final result. I just wanted to put a little bit of work in and actually practice some stuff. Let's see if we can see some of that. The file really kind of brings it along. Oh, you can see like a pretty good nick. Got a little crazy. I don't know what happened there. It's going to be a few of those. It's funny. You can barely me. It's hard to say. Hard to say what I can feel and what I can't feel with that. It's so fine. Sorry. I'll say like the chamfering was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I ended up going like up 2 sizes in my little kit. And it requires a lot more finger grip and hand pressure than I thought it was going to. And it gets a lot more squirrely. So that was kind of challenging. Ended up coming up from the top of the cylinder, and that made a little bit of a difference for the angle. Just kind of helped a little bit. I think that was kind of the way to go for whatever reason. Kind of like aim for that side and then turn it over and do the exact same thing from the bottom and then aim for that side. And being pretty good. And then with the files, we were able to get it pretty good. Hopefully you guys can see in there. We'll give it the old 1-2 turn. It's looking pretty good. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with it, guys. Pretty happy. Hey guys, we're back. I ended up learning some stuff and doing some different stuff and testing. And one thing, I'm sick by the time I'm filming this, and I'm not really sure how many videos this is going to get broken down to. If this is going to be porting video number 2, 3, 4. Not that far, I'm joking. But maybe 1 or 2 or 3. I don't know. Definitely not 1. We already have one of those. Anyways, what I ended up settling with, or not necessarily settling with, but doing was using one of these. There we go. Using one of these sanding wheels, basically. This is what I use first. Then I went back. Ooh, shoot. But the smaller one. This one's smaller compared to the other one. Hit it with the big one first. These ones are brand new. I'm getting ready for the next one. But anyways, I digress. And I got it nice and boom, hit it real nice like. That really did very well in my opinion. Hold on, I gotta be able to see. Very happy with this. Not too shabby, right? We're going to go ahead and quickly hit it with some 400 grit. Then I'm just going to jump to 1,000 and then 2,500 grit. Stay tuned. We'll take a look at the final part of this, and we'll go ahead and move on to bigger and better things.
It's the ones that's got the swept like that, that's very thin. Like what's on, if you look back at,
what's up, everyone? We are back. We are on Kevin's Live watching this. This is going to be a way down the road by the time you guys see that. I'm going to jump on back here in a second. He's actually right there answering one of my questions. I was kind of curious about his rims that he runs. There's a lot of questions about those magnesium rims versus other rims. Anyways, we are back in action, and we took some 400 grit, some 1,000 grit, and then some 2,500 grit. And what's crazy is you can really see the imperfections really quick. But overall, I think just by quickly hitting these up by hand, while my son was taking a bath, that was kind of fun. So I'll go back over here on the other side, turn slowly, but pretty good for really just by hand, and you can really see the imperfections. And again, this is the first time I've ever kind of done the whole process. Just wanted to show you what she looked like with a little bit of glamour. Cool, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and jump on Kevin's Live and finish that up and call this finished video finally. So a lot of fun. Learned a lot. I think we're ready to take on the next adventure. Alrighty. Thank you, guys.